Hello everyone, welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0 episode talk. So in this episode, Miho got a present, and it's a gacha machine full of capsule monsters. So Yugi explains that it's kind of like chess in a way. And also, yes, at the end of the last episode video, I did not really know what this episode was going to be about, so I did not really say anything. Anyway, back to this episode, because it's capsule monsters time, baby, yes! I mean, capsule monsters were not used at all really during the dual monster stuff, because it was all about dual monsters, but capsule monsters actually was very important in the manga at certain points, and we actually get to see that here, which I like. But Miho likes it because of the fact that there's like jewels and stuff in there instead of actual capsule monsters. So apparently a guy named Warashibe gave it to her. So then Yugi heads off after class without the gang in order to find Warashibe, and apparently Yugi was the one who gave Warashibe the advice for the gift because of the fact that he wanted to give her like a actual gacha machine full of capsule monsters, but that wouldn't really be something that Miho would like, now would it? So instead we'll give her one that instead of having capsule monsters, it has jewels in it. That is better. And he also is very much in love with Miho. So later on, Miho visits Yugi's place in order to get, I guess, some capsule monsters. But however, when Grandpa wants to explain it to her, she has no interest in battling. It is more for collecting purposes rather than battling, so she leaves. So then later on, Warashibe brings Yugi to his secret hideout where he has a bunch of capsule monsters, and apparently Miho wrote a letter to Warashibe about the fact that she's actually interested in capsule monsters, which, look, I understand you want to write a thank you note, but don't lie in that thing, otherwise bad things can happen to you because of what you wrote. Like, you're not supposed to write, I like capsule monsters, that kind of stuff, alright? Just say thank you for the gift and call it a day, okay? But she wrote some stuff in that note that will get her into trouble. Now, while I will never defend the person that Warashibe is in this episode, which I also like the fact that they handle something like that, but anyway, she still was also in the wrong for writing a note that is basically leading a guy on and then not giving him anything. It's like, then why did you lead him on in the first place? But Warashibe is definitely in the wrong in this episode, which we will get to later, because now Warashibe thinks it is his time to strike and get the woman, but he needs a plan, and he has a plan. However, Yuki doesn't really think the plan is such a good idea, so he wants to leave, but then like a gate comes from the sky in order to lock Yugi in until Warashibe gets his way, because he starts crying like a baby in order to get his way. And apparently, according to the subtitles, his name is apparently a pun or just means baby or child or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Anyway, Yugi eventually agrees, so Yugi pretends to be a scary monster to attack Miho so that Warashibe can come in and save the girl and get the woman. Yes! That's an easy, simple plan. However, one little problem is the fact that Miho instantly recognizes Yugi, which, Yugi, that you? That was funny. However, she doesn't want to go. She doesn't even understand the first thing about capsule monsters at all. So then she hits him and then she escapes. So he is not happy about that. And then he starts to turn into the villain. Alright, look, I understand men want women. It's an understandable thing. I myself would like a woman as well. However, never go down this road, okay? Never go down the road of the fact that you think you deserve her. If she rejects you, that's it. The best thing you can do is cut off all contact and call it a day, okay? Do not get it into your head that you deserve her, okay? Maybe you deserve a girlfriend. It's not her, though. There is someone else, maybe, potentially. Look, I'm not gonna be one of those like people that's gonna give hope, okay? I'm not gonna say there is someone out there. There's a small chance that there is someone out there for you, but this girl ain't it. Don't start becoming obsessive about her, okay? That's just a little advice to the people who do not have girlfriends, okay? Don't become obsessed. Don't become this guy. It's a very bad thing to do. So then the next day, Yuki apologized to Miho, who is still a little bit angry, and Warashibe sees the gang as the enemy. At least Taya, Joey, and Tristan. So he goes to give them a little bit of water, disguised obviously, and they drink the water. However, it was poisoned, so now they have a stomach ache. However, the one thing that I don't really understand is why would you then immediately afterwards put the letter in Miho's locker with basically your confession. So she reads that, and now she's angry, and you don't want to make the innocent girl angry, because that wrath is it's too much for people. So she heads over to Yuki. Where is he? That kind of stuff, all Batman-like. So Yuki takes her to where Warashibe is, and then he's like, I love you. And she's like, I'm not interested, okay? Don't poison my friends. And he's like, alright, fine. You know what? How about this? Let's play a game of capsule monsters. If I win, you will become my wife. If you win, I'll leave you alone and your friend forever. And she agrees, which, how stupid are you? How stupid are you? Why would you agree to this? Okay, you don't even know how capsule monsters work. But anyway, they basically have to spin the dial in order to get their set of, I think it was 5 monsters. However, one little problem. Miho gets only level 1, level 2, and I think a singular level 4. Meanwhile, Warashibe gets 3 level 5s and 2 level 4s. So, yeah, that's a little bit of a problem. So she starts off with a move that immediately gets countered, so that did not work out. However, because of circumstances, Yugi actually accidentally falls into the machine, and that causes it to be officially revealed he cheated. And he's open about it. He's like, yeah, I cheated. So then Miho's like, alright, time to leave. But then the gate comes down. But the problem is that the thing that the pillar that the gate string was attached to cracks. So everything falls down. However, don't worry about that because Yami's here, boys. And he saved the girl. However, she's unconscious because she needs to be, because she can't see Yugi like this. So Yami will battle in her place with her monsters, by the way. He doesn't want anything to change because he already sees a victory. One singular way to get victory. And if Warashibe gets a hold of the idea, Yami is ruined. But anyway, he sits down and one by one, his monsters get destroyed. Until he's only left with a singular level 2 monsters. And Warashibe has only gotten one of his monsters destroyed because they were same level, so they destroyed each other. You know how it goes. However, Yami then reveals that this has all been part of his plan because of the fact that now his monsters are lined up. And while, yes, his last monster is only a wee level 2 and cannot really do a lot, there's one thing this monster can do, and that is strike for 7 spaces in 1 row. And as you can see, his monsters are all lined up in 1 row. So, bye! And that can even, by the way, destroy level 5 monsters. So, bye! Yami wins. Then he wants to get the girl anyway, but then, you know, shadow game. So he gets punished, obviously. So he gets put inside of a capsule. I don't know if he's dead or not. I don't really care. And then the next day, the gang is talking about what had happened. And then Miho runs up to the gang. Also, earlier, Joey was like, I don't want to hear anything about capsule monsters ever again. But apparently, Miho is now actually interested in capsule monsters. So that is how it ends. And I don't know how many times capsule monsters are going to be back because obviously, that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things because it's all about jewel monsters in the future anyway. But overall, I very much enjoyed this episode. It was a focus that we got on Miho, which I actually enjoyed, even though this character will never appear again outside of this show. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section down below. With that being said, thank you all so very much for watching, and I do hope you guys have enjoyed. And if you did, please like button, subscribe if you're new for Dance Array. Turn on notifications. Don't forget, check out the Let's Play channel link in the description and at the end of the video. And I'll see you guys next time for the Invincible Legend. Bye!